Okay, so wanted to talk about a few rare occurrences that can happen with Medicare, with this Part B in particular. And I think this might be something that we'll see a little bit more often. I could be wrong, but I think because of the whole COVID and everything, I think some people maybe are going to be working a little bit longer, so they're going to be staying at their employer. So we could see circumstances where people who are enrolled in Medicare actually disenroll. This happens, but I think maybe we'll see more of it, where people will disenroll from their Part B because they don't want to pay that premium and they can just get coverage through their employer. So that is a very rare circumstance. Like, most people don't do it because most people aren't at 65 retired, and then probably, this would be my guess, retiring and then going back to work and getting the coverage. Usually your Medicare coverage pretty impeccable. So to get employer coverage, it's got to be pretty good coverage. What I want to really get on is that's one way that you can disenroll from Medicare, would be that there's a special form that you got to fill out. It's called the CM 1763, I believe. CMS 1763. So that one you can go find on the CMS website. I'll see if I can find a link to it and put it in the description of this video so you guys can take a look. That's one way. And then another way, I talk about travel and Medicare. And another thing with travel is if you are someone who's been traveling and you've been out of the country for over 6 months continuous time, you'll voluntarily be disenrolled from Medicare or your Medicare Advantage plan. And sorry, you can also be outside of, it doesn't have to be the country, but just outside of your network, a different part of the country. You could risk being disenrolled, but then you'd also get a special enrollment period where you're at there. So they're pretty lenient with that. And then if you don't do that, then they'll put you back on original Medicare. And if you don't qualify for a supplement, then you're definitely putting yourself at risk. However, it usually shouldn't get that far. Those are the two ways that I've heard of as the most common for disenrolling from Medicare, and Medicare Part B specifically. That's the one that is like so rare. It really is for people that would be employed, like I was talking about in the beginning, who would be employed, get onto Medicare at age 65, and then get a new job where they have, we talked about this, whether Medicare is primary or the health insurance from the company is the primary payer. So if that person was to jump into a company that was 20 or more, then health insurance becomes the primary, Medicare is the secondary. So you could technically disenroll from the coverage, but it's just highly, highly recommended not to. But if you can avoid paying the premium for a little bit and it's going to work out for you, this very rare situation is something that I would recommend for the right person. So that's when it would be necessary, but in most cases it's frowned upon because it's just not something that's done too often, because you really shouldn't be disenrolling from Part B unless you have a really good reason not to. So that's the one thing with disenrolling from that. And then disenrollment from Medicare Advantage is more of a voluntary thing. If you've been out of town for 7 months, you're going to be disenrolled and they're going to want you to pick another plan, but they'll give you a special enrollment period to do so. I hope that was good enough information to clarify disenrolling from Medicare and when that might actually happen, and when it very, very rare circumstances, as I mentioned, that you would want to implement disenrolling from Part B. So I hope this was helpful. If you guys could leave a comment, let me know. If any of you have ever disenrolled from Part B, let us know what you think about your travel plans, the coronavirus. Are you going to do anything or celebrate when this is all over and go travel? I talk about traveling in another video with Medicare. It's definitely being impacted, and that's a bummer because it's summer. We all had some big plans this summer. So talk to you later. Thanks again. Make sure you subscribe.